footsteps vanish so swiftly. Empty streets now whisper tales of long-lost faces gone so pale. Flickering lights on corners weep, silent voices haunt the deep. Every door seems like a plea, murmuring secrets to the key. Where have you gone? Where did you stray? Into the night or the light of day? Missing shadows cast away, gone without a word to say. Photos lie on dusty shelves, memories trapped like lonesome elves. Echoes of laughter fade to gray as time's
Open the door starts now.
fog of the unknown.
Hey everybody, I'm gonna see how I can get me and Brian. Oh, here we go. There we go. I was like, why are you so small? Well, welcome everybody. I'm Barb Hartman from No Drama Bigfoot and Cryptids, and my good buddy, my Bigfoot brother, Brian Barber, is here with me from Bigfoot's Barbershop. So how are you doing tonight, Brian?
Doing good, excited for the show. I want to get the elephant in the room out of the way. R.I.P. Dr. Meldrum.
Yes. That sad
crazy
day
that we're
for the
putting this show
community.
together, and
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yep. You know, Brian and I were talking before the show, right? And it's like we're kind of like, we're thrown for a loop with the events of the last week, and so we're just gonna kind of do this off the cuff, right, Brian?
Yeah, we are. We're gonna do it on the fly, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because there's so many good people. So many. I want to just say hi to the people that have joined us. Let's see. We have Jane and Garrow, Midwest Night Watchers, and Chiro Sounds. Roger Blair. Hey, Roger, how are you? It's so good. Donna Do is saying hi, Brian. Can you see the? Can you see the comments?
No, I can see my private chat on.
Okay, good.
Donna
good.
from the gym I work at. Donna, how we doing?
Awesome. Well, welcome, Donna. So Brian, you want to talk a little bit about Dr. Meldrum and what the situation is? Big loss to the cryptid community, really, the Bigfoot community.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to have a few interactions just through Messenger, but it was just on a whim. I sent him a couple pictures and said, I know I'm a nobody and you're very busy, but if you could take a look at these. And he actually responded, and
Nice.
ever since I had a few questions answered by him. So
that's great.
He was one of my favorites. Just the Monster Quest was how I first saw him. The fact that how he brought real science to Bigfoot. And took a lot of heat for it. I mean, he really stuck his reputation out there for. Yeah. I mean,
that's for sure. Yeah, we know. Oh my gosh, that is for sure.
And I know I sent him. Let me look back. I think I sent him a message about 3 days ago asking him, "Hey, if you're feeling up to it, watch the show. You might be interested."
Oh, well.
So.
I know that they had removed him, and I'm not sure what the situation was. Was it like 2 years ago? He was on a Bigfoot cruise. I believe it was to Alaska with some big name, the big names, and they had to life flight him or take a medical help, medevac him off. So I don't know whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not our business. But just a sad state of affairs. So I just wanted. Oh no. Brian and I both have our little sidekicks. Asher, you guys know if you watch my videos. And there's Bear. Hey, Bear.
Yeah, there's Bear.
Hi, buddy. Oh, he's so cute.
The cat lays down outside the door while we're recording. He likes to sound off. So yeah,
I don't know if I can get Asher. Asher, come here. Come on, camera. Come on. Asher's like, no, I guess he's camera shy. He doesn't like cameras anyway. But
He's
yeah,
camera
but he's
shy.
laying here at my feet, and I was telling you before the show that yeah, my son-in-law is, because we're back home. You know, we've been out on the Olympic Peninsula, and we're going back out, but we had to come back home for a few days. I had a bunch of appointments, and so my son-in-law is going to be coming home pretty soon. So I'm going to have to mute my and maybe get my little sidekick out of here. But so Brian, what have you been doing with you know, I mean, share with the listeners what you've been up to with your research.
You know, the research, unfortunately, is kind of Old Bear, how you doing? Kind of a backseat at the moment with you know, people know I've got some health issues going on, and it's kind of limited my ability to get out. But
yeah,
at the same time, I'm also decided to. I started off in my real career at 16 as a personal trainer, and did it till I got injured. Long story short, there was only about a 4-year break. Still work in the gym, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to finish this where I started, so I'm getting recertified and go out of this world, you know, as a personal trainer, how I really started it. So we are going to, you know, it's fun because actually people are like, you know, well, what do I got if we like prizes, competitions? I already got a couple of clients that are like, well, you know, if we get a competition and I win, can I go Bigfooting with you?
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that'd be a prize.
You know, maybe we can do that. That might be something.
Yeah,
so,
for real. Wow.
We will see. But yeah, it's, you know, and then trying to like we're talking, you know, our opinions on Mount Rushmore, and you know, and you and I are both, you know, there are so many people, and it's like, how do you choose?
I know. That's we both said. Well, you said it first, and because I was like, I don't want to look like an unprepared loser, but for the show.
Yeah, it's
Brian
just
said, this has been harder to prepare for them. And I'm like, yeah, it has, because when it gets right down to it, with all the people that are just amazing in this, you know, you want to celebrate everybody.
We need more like 3 Mount Rushmores, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Maybe we should. Yeah, we should have thought of a different monument, maybe.
Yeah,
so
we could use the backside that they haven't used on that yet.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm just gonna I've been, I don't know, to anybody. I feel like you guys are people that are watching right now. I think you guys probably know what's going on with me. We're back and forth from our house on the Key Peninsula in Washington State to our newer property that's on the Olympic Peninsula. Also in Washington State, that's only about 70 miles from here as the crow flies, and super active area. My little sidekick is Brian. I'm gonna get him out of here, and you just talk. I'll be right back.
Let's check through the comments and say hi. We already got Down to Do. We got Roger, Midnight Watchers, Old Bear's done a Bigfoot. We got Roger, Bigfoot Michigan. Rob, how we doing? Bear says hi too, apparently. And like Barb said, you know, I kind of shortchanged myself in getting ready for this show, but trying to figure out, you know, who the 4 should be. And there's obvious choices, like you know, you get Bob Dylan and Roger Patterson in there. I mean,
yeah.
The Patterson Gimlin film is, instead of saying they're the mountain, we'll say the Patterson Gimlin film is the mountain.
Yeah.
And then kind of all the research, everything has come off that. You know,
the
Jerry Crew tracks that originally got, because it was Jerry Crew that got them to come out, right? If I remember right.
Well,
it was
yeah, but
logging equipment, and then Roger and
yeah.
So it's like, and you know, and we can even talk a little bit about that. The fact that it really, to me, it sucks the fact that Roger Patterson didn't get vindicated the way Bob has, fortunately.
Well, yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
kind of went, Rogers just, kind of went, I don't want to speak ill, but they say
Yeah.
Roger didn't do some favorable things and just wanted money where,
Yeah.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
that film's been vindicated. It's the second most viewed piece of footage in the
Yep.
world. So,
Yep.
and
And Tom Cantrell, you've probably seen his little, what do I want to say? Like his, not shtick, but he has a presentation on, I mean, that 100% debunks it as a suit, as a person in a suit. I mean, there's no, absolutely not.
I even refuse to call that guy his name that tried to claim the
yes, yeah,
that
yep.
suit him.
Yeah.
I just call him the hippopotamus because that's what
Yeah.
he looked like. He didn't look like
Yeah.
Patty when he walked. He looked like a hippo.
Oh my gosh, ridiculous!
So,
Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
and you talk about Tom, and he's another one that took so much crap through the years, and
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. We were saying like Arla is another one. Arla Colette Williams. She and hi Ray. She has taken so much crap. I forget what they called them. They were calling Tom and Arla like years ago, like the I want to say like the high priest and priestess of like Bigfoot or of Woo, or I don't remember what exactly, but it was like so it's such nonsense. Like it's such nonsense. And it really speaks to, what we as Sasquatch researchers and like experiencers, what we deal with. Because we know it's real. I know it's real. You know it's they're real. And all we can do is tell our truths and we both say that with hoaxers and fakers, you try to do that one time, you get caught, you can forget about it because that's all anybody's going to remember. I mean, that's how I feel anyway. Like you hoax one thing, you fake one thing, I'm going to question every single thing that you do then.
Well,
and that's
and I'll name drop the big two that I can think of. As soon as I hear their names, I do. It's just hope. You got Todd Standing and Rick Dreyer.
Yeah.
They're just synonymous with fake Bigfoot stuff. So.
Funny. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And it's a shame because I feel like Todd Standing had he had a really good thing going there, and I think he does have some really good evidence, but he had to take it a little too far, and then it makes you question everything he did. But you're right, Ray. We were talking about Dr. Jeff Meldrum. Yeah. Because he's definitely somebody that you know what? Let me just get right into my list if that's okay. Yeah, well, and again, this is going to be a pretty extensive list, and so at the end we may tell you who we decide, because if we have to pick 4 people of all these people, we're not even sure we're going to be able to do that, right, Brian? Like we said, we need to pick
exactly. up. And maybe we can even get the chat involved for their vote too, and
yes.
put.
Yeah,
we'll do do our own little CGI and put a Mount Rushmore on the No Cryptids web page. And
that sounds good. No drama. Yep. No drama. Bigfoot and cryptids. Yeah. I am too, Ray. And I didn't used to be into. I mean, I honestly started out thinking that Ray saying, I don't know if I can put these show. Oh yes, I can. Oh, okay. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry, this is my first live show on my channel by my, like on my YouTube. Ray says she's 100%, or Ray is I think it's a she. I'm sorry if I misgender Q. I'm 100% into the woo. Hey, Levon's here too. Yay. I started out with that these were just, I really thought that they were giant, relic hominids or undiscovered apes walking around, just very good at being, at hiding. But with the things that I've experienced the last 3 years, I can't, nope, I just don't feel that way anymore. But then again, that's just my opinion. If you haven't experienced stuff like that, then Yeah.
And we've done so many shows and talked to so many people on and off camera, and
Yeah.
it's I use that analogy drawn. I was with you. It was a hard line in the sand. These are just undiscovered primates or humans.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get so many people telling you the same thing that don't know each other, with, if you want to call it the woo,
Yeah.
how do you keep that? You can't keep that line.
Yeah.
That's no different than a skeptic drawing a line in the sand and calling you and us liars.
Right. Right.
So
Hey,
you
there's
can't discredit.
Leonard. Thanks for joining us, Leonard. Awesome. Yeah. I know, and I have a problem with that because I don't want people to think I'm some whack job. And why would I say, I don't know, like, why would I say this stuff? If the people in the audience, that are listening to us or are watching this video, if you guys think we're being paid 1 red cent for this, we're not. This is all, this is all volunteer. It's all driven by our passion because of what we've experieed. And
if we were getting paid, that wall would be completely filled with Hulk figures instead of Gap.
Yeah. But, and it'd be a good high budget operation.
Yeah.
But
no, cameras left and right, and editors do the stuff for us. I mean, come on.
You're right. It's just you and Bear and your laptop.
Oh, yeah.
And Asher. Well, Asher left, and my laptop.
Wouldn't have to worry about seeing that fan go around on the top for the layout.
That's right. Listen.
Yeah. So
if you guys have any questions, can you put them in all caps so we notice? Because that's also something that I was thinking as I sit down, as I'm preparing for this show a couple of days ago. But today I was like, oh no, I don't even have my StreamYard like set up for live show. So I lost the. I'm going to have to ask some. Let me see. I know I can ask. Oh, I could probably ask several people on here have shows, and I can ask them how to get my countdown back on because I hit it and it hit it from the StreamYard. So anyway, whatever. Yeah, Sonny, you're right. Disclosure of Bigfoot will come from experiencers, and that's true. Yep. So Yep. So I'm gonna. Let's see. Oh, wait, this is a question. Sorry. Has Brian or Barb had mind speak? I have. Yes, not often, but I have had a few instances of it. What about you, Brian?
I think at one time it was either instinct or mind speak was my first experience, was when I came down to, people remember I went to hit the horn and something in my head said, if I hit that horn, it's going to be a really bad night. And so I just sat there like this, like, okay, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
Something told me to.
And so what would, and that's kind of like, I had a couple, and one of them was long, but the first 2 were short. And I don't know how, like, the first one was Mont came into my head right before I call him the clan elder, right before he vocalized over my camera one night when I was listening to him. And then another night, one of them one of the Sasquatch here that like to pretend like they're owls and mimic owls really well. But this one does it all the time. But then it kind of degrades down into from quack, quack, quack. It sounds real good. And then it's like, obviously it's not a duck. And then the word Oscar, actually, like, somehow I heard it, and I don't know, I don't know, it happened so fast. And I'm like, Oscar. But then I'm thinking, OSCAR, right? Like Oscar Mayer. But then the word Oscar, OSKAR, pops in my head. These are all independent thoughts. They didn't come from my brain. They didn't come from me. Like, it's like I'm kind of almost dozing off, ready to go to sleep as I'm listening. And, you get like a shoot awake, like, wow. And now Ray's asking if we've been zapped. And yes, Leonard, I wanted to say, Leonard, we're very sad to hear about Dr. Meldrum. Yeah. It's been a rough, So now Ray's asking, have we been zapped? Do you want to go first, Brian?
There have been times where I've gone in those woods, triple digits, And yet every so often I will go in those woods and just kind of get a confused feeling, and next thing I know, I'm lost
Yeah. Yeah.
in the same woods. And it's like, I
Yeah.
don't understand how I do that.
Yeah.
So possibly there's been
Mhm.
3 times where that's happened, where I've had to take a whole lot of extra in familiar woods that I know very well, and yet somehow I get turned around.
Mhm.
So I'm missing
And
some.
that's like, yeah, that doesn't seem, and we don't know what causes it, right?
Yeah, and it's weird that
Yeah.
it's the same spacey feeling each time.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
like I hate to use the word uh, high in the sky, we'll just say, but that's
Yeah.
almost what it feels like, is
Huh?
like I
Yeah.
had a brownie, or
Yeah.
something.
Or like I had too many glasses of wine or something,
Yeah,
and you're stone cold sober in this. Yeah.
but I
And
know you've had some.
yeah, yeah, I've had it. I had it twice at our house here on the Key Peninsula. Actually, it was the I had it twice within a few minutes. The first time that I heard a Sasquatch, really the first day that I actually, like, I went out to, I'm going to now go out and start to research, and I had one grunt at me twice, and that freaked me out. But like my response, my physical response was way over the top. So this is nothing that I feel that would have, been caused by adrenaline, and it, like you said, it was when I came out of it, and I thank God that it did leave me, because I would have probably fallen right into a ravine, because I was headed right for a ravine. So yeah, and it's definitely like the missing time, and when you go, ooh, very, very, hey, there's Cat. Hey, Cat. Whoa. Aw, Cat Matheson. Good to see you, sweetie. So
Oh
good to
yeah,
see you. Yeah.
yeah,
You see her? Yeah. Let me get.
yeah. Now I do.
And yes, honey, you're right. Yeah, that horrific feeling of having no control. And I was gonna click on that. But then what she said, yeah, up above that was true. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. People say it's zapping. People say it's it. Other people say no, it's not infrasound. I don't know what it is. We just know that we've experienced it. I've had some really weird. This is what Sunny said. She doesn't think it's infrasound, but an energy burst, fast change of energy vibrations that are causing my zapping. Yep. Yeah. I have had some bad episodes out on the Olympic Peninsula, but I think that I think I was being zapped, but I think that it was, as it was, some people explained to me, some research explained to me, it was like my weak spot in my body is my blood sugar. So it goes, it can go too low, way too low. And that's almost like if they were, I don't know, trying to keep me out, and they're maybe zapping me that way, because that's been some really a few scary situations out there. But now I have it under control, and I also feel like it's because, like, I went out with the intention. I go out like, hey, I'm going to just go out and start researching, and it's not how I operate. I usually go out and introduce myself and all that stuff, and I wasn't doing that. And when I went out and actually did that, then it kind of all that stopped. So or like just recently, about 2 weeks ago, when I saw one, and you guys can see that on my YouTube channel, and right before, something threw a I think it was a rock, I'm not sure, like I was walking by this electrical box, and something, right as I walked, just as I got maybe 5-10 feet from it, something hit it, like a rock hit it, and nobody else is around. I'm completely by myself. And then when I was walking back to the box, I started feeling this like energy, almost like, when you like get zapped, like from a light socket, like stick your finger in.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Not electrocuted, but it's a
Yeah.
high intensity, like electrical shock. And it was starting to feel like that. And I'm like, hey, and I said, hey, you guys, come on. I'm not doing anything to harm you. Just please lay off. And it stopped. So I don't know, but yeah, it is. Yeah.
We have to go off of our experiences, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when and when we were talking about credibility, as long as these are the same people that are doing what we're doing, but we're doing it way before it was acceptable.
Yes,
We're
exactly.
just telling our experiences, and the guys like the standings and the dryers are.
Yep. Yeah.
Like you said, I think some people had good intentions, but then they want so bad to be like the first to do this, or like Standing's big thing was to get Bigfoot on the books.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's a whole lot of, we all know that it's going to take a whole lot of stuff to get it. But you get caught with one pair of gorilla gloves in your truck, and your credibility's out the window, buddy.
Yep. That's
So
right.
that's where the people that we're going to talk about, so far as I know, haven't been.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to make it be okay.
Go ahead. Ray just is asking, have you ever had a dark entity that wasn't Sasquatch try to mind speak with you? No, I mean, I haven't. I've had like encounters with dark entities in my past, and I'm fully protected from that. And I feel like I'm really, like I'm in tune now to what that is. Like I get like physical like response, like symptoms to that when it is something that is demonic to me. That would just be something demonic. What about you, Brian?
Well, I had that one shadow person incident, and then talking to on Camp Nightmare Fuel, we talked about my incidents with the book and the nightmares that were present until Dr. Carroll actually helped take care of it. So I don't know if you would consider that a mind speak, but those nightmares definitely came from somewhere.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a different situation.
Nobody's telling me to go take go do this for this person, or
so she's saying check in Arizona. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Just saying check in Arizona recently and had to rebuke it, I believe. And and actually that happened to Daryl Denton, that he had a dark entity that showed up and it was posing as a Sasquatch, and it was very aggressive, and and then he rebuked it, and it went away. But I've never felt like I've never felt like that when I see them. I don't feel like they're like there's something that's scary or dark or whatever. So hey Lulu, welcome Lulu.
I mean, I've been, how do I want to put this? Scared because of the situation, but it was a situation that when you look back on it, was my fault to begin with. Like if somebody walked, I talk about the incident where my friend and I who passed went into the woods looking, where we saw deer tracks and Bigfoot tracks. So odds are, if we come across something, they probably, having dinner with the kids. And if somebody comes into dinner with my living room with a flashlight and hits me in the face, I'm not going to be happy either. So,
right.
The only other time where I've been like, oh crap, was when a friend and I were out. We were putting a couple recorders out. We heard a couple really loud tree cracks, and when we went over with the flashlights, there were red eyes. I've only seen red eyes twice.
Oh,
the red eyes for some reason was like, crap, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Normally it's like a yellow eye shine that I see, but for some reason the red ones were just like instant. Okay, nope, we're out.
Yeah. Does that red eye? When they have red eyes, does that indicate something, right? That potentially.
To me, I wonder if the eye color. Some people say it's demonic. I tend to think it might be like people wear, because my eyes turn green when I get mad. I've got.
So you really do Hulk out, right?
Kind of, yeah. That was a lot of people that tell me my eyes change color and I turn beet. Well, technically, I'd be the Red Hulk, I guess, because I get beet red because my blood pressure through the roof. and I get very
Yeah.
quiet, and then my eyes turn like kind of like a light green. And
Wow.
but my dad did the same thing where his eyes turn blue.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like father like
Wow.
son. So
That's
I wonder
cool.
if that's not relating it back to Sasquatch. What happens there is
Yeah.
the blood pressure's up, and so it reflects a little different.
Yeah. Their adrenaline's going like, uh-oh, got to keep the, out of here.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, Kath saying red is usually a protection color, maybe a warning. And that's entirely possible. Yeah.
Yep. They could have been saying, "Hey, wife and kids are here. You guys need to go home for
Yeah.
tonight."
And then Lulu Bell, yeah, red-eyed Bigfoot are said to be more aggressive and dangerous. I've heard that too. I've not, I can't confirm that with my own research, but yeah, but that's what I've heard as well. So, so let me go into, I guess we'll get right into some of my choices of,
We know our
what would
paths.
you say, like runners up, not runners up. These are the people in contention with my list. It's not it, and then people that I considered. So let's go back into like the name Bigfoot was introduced to public consciousness, and I don't know if some people know this. I knew it, but I feel like it's an interesting fact. Actually, back in 1958, by Andrew Genzali, a reporter for the Humboldt Times, that's Humboldt, California. After he wrote articles about large footprints that were found by loggers in Northern California. And that was, I believe, was that the Jerry Cruise or was that later on? Yeah.
Yep.
So the name arose in relation to local tales of large, hairy men, wild men, and was applied to, the mysterious footprints discovered at the site. So in 1958, workers on a road construction project in Northern California, including a man named Ray Wallace, found large human-like footprints. Andrew Genzali, I'm sorry if I may not be pronouncing his name right, and I looked to see how to pronounce it, but I couldn't figure it out. A reporter for the Humboldt Times newspaper, and again, this is Northern California, wrote about these mysterious footprints and the surrounding local legends of wild men. Genzali introduced the term Bigfoot in his articles, which was inspired by the massive size of the tracks and the creature's described characteristics. Before the 1958 event, similar stories and legends of large, hairy men and humanoid creatures existed in Native American folklore, especially in the Pacific Northwest. The term Sasquatch is derived from the Salish word meaning wild men. And it was a name for these creatures that, that was given by many local tribes. And you know what? And it's what's pretty bizarre is that I was told by people that claim to be able to, communicate with them, that my clan here, they call themselves Sasquatch, like don't call them Bigfoot. But then I'm in that area. I'm in that Salish type, sort of area. So I thought that was really interesting. And the person that told me that, I think it was Kath actually. And she didn't know that. I mean, it was like, I think it was Kath. I don't know, but did you, Kath, if you're listening? So the 1958 newspaper coverage turned these local stories into a widespread media event, solidifying the name, Bigfoot in lore. So, John, I got to talk about these guys because this is who I grew up watching. Any documentary, anything with these guys in, I was all about it. John Green, Peter Byrne, Renee DeHindren, and Grover Krantz. They've been dubbed the Four Horsemen of Sasquatchery. So first we have John Green. He's probably my favorite. I don't know why. It's funny because it's like if he and I talked, we may actually disagree on some things, but but now that what I know, but just by watching him, I don't know. He was probably one of my favorites. He was born in Canada in 1927 and he passed away in 2016. He was a Canadian journalist and a leading researcher of the Bigfoot phenomenon. He was a graduate of both the University of British Columbia and Columbia University and compiled a database of more than 3,000 sightings and track reports, which that's really cool. Green first began investigating Sasquatch sightings and track finds in 1957, after meeting Rene Dahinden, and the two researchers collaborated in interviewing witnesses and sharing information of the alleged sightings. A year later, Green was shown a series of 15-inch tracks crossing a sandbar beside Bluff Creek in California, so deeply impressed as to indicate a weight many times that of any potential hoaxer. Because we know there was a lot of that going on, and that's been proven that there was some hoaxers making stamps of prints and trying to pass them off as Sasquatch. He had been trying ever since to establish what it takes to make the tracks. Green also investigated the Sasquatch tracks reported in Bluff Creek, California in the summer of 1958. As a renowned authority in the field, he appeared as a keynote speaker in many Sasquatch symposiums. He authored several books on the subject, including Sasquatch, the Apes Among Us, and that was released in 1978. This is regarded by the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization as the best written book on the subject. So that's cool. It has been reissued in recent times in 2006, and along with On the Track of Sasquatch, he also wrote that in 1968, Encounters with Bigfoot in 1980, and as combined reprints with an update under the new title of The Best of Sasquatch Bigfoot in 2004. Green was featured in Sasquatch Odyssey, a documentary film profiling, the four leading Sasquatch researchers. The next one is Peter Byrne. He was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1925, and he passed away in 2023 in Tillamook, Oregon. He was an explorer, author, media personality, and cryptozoologist, probably best known as a research investigator. He was committed to the search for unrecognized creatures for over 50 years. In his early life, he was a big game hunting guide in Nepal, a profession that instilled in him a unique knowledge of the ways, of like wild animals and their behavior. In the late 1960s, he put his professional hunting career behind him and, wanting to give something back, formed the International Wildlife Conservation Society in Washington, D.C. Working with this organization, he designed and carried out a 20-year series of wildlife preservation programs in the area of his former hunting concession in Nepal. This work continues to the present day. I thought that was really cool too, because I did not know that. During this time and later on, Peter led expeditions in the Himalayas to search for the Yeti, and then pioneered Sasquatch research in North America. In the 1970s, he joined renowned American explorer Robert Rines in his search for the fabled monsters of Loch Ness. That's like my second favorite cryptid, I'd say. Well, not that I don't consider, Sasquatch or Bigfoot a cryptid anymore. Rene Dahinden, got to mention him. Another Canadian researcher. He was born in 1930 and he passed away in 2001. He was born in Switzerland and moved to Canada in October of 1953, where he would live for the rest of his life. He became interested in the Bigfoot phenomenon shortly after arriving in Canada, and during the next few decades, he conducted many field investigations and interviews throughout the Pacific Northwest. Dahinden was a major advocate for the Patterson-Gimlin film. With Don Hunter, he co-wrote the book Sasquatch, which was published in 1973 in a hardcover edition. In 1975, it would be issued as paperback. The title would then be revised and renamed in 1993 Sasquatch/Bigfoot, the search for North America's incredible creature. Now, if you guys have ever watched Harry and the Hendersons, there's a French-Canadian Bigfoot hunting character in that movie, and it was 1987, I think, was Harry and the Hendersons, and that's based on Rene Dahinden. So next we have Grover Kranz. He was born in 1931 in Salt Lake City, Utah, and he died in 2002 in Port Angeles, Washington. He was an anthropologist and a cryptozoologist, and he was one of the few scientists not only to research Bigfoot, but also to express his beliefs in the animal's existence. Throughout his professional career, he authored more than 60 academic articles and 10 books on human evolution, and he conducted field research in Europe, in China, and other areas. Outside of his formal studies of evolutionary anthropology and primatology, his cryptozoological research on Bigfoot drew heavy criticism from his colleagues. How do we, how this is how it goes. They called it fringe science, and costing him research grants and promotions and delaying his tenure at the university. Wow. Further, his articles on the subject were rejected by peer-reviewed scholarly journals. His specialty as an anthropologist included all aspects of human evolution, but he was best known outside of academia as the first serious researcher to devote his professional energies to the scientific study of Bigfoot. Beginning in 1963, his cryptozoology research was ignored by, he began that in 1963. Because his cryptozoology research was ignored by mainstream scientists, despite his academic credentials, in a bid to find an audience, Krantz published new aimed at casual readers and also frequently appeared in documentaries. His studies of Bigfoot, which he called Sasquatch, led him to believe that it was an actual creature. He theorized that sightings were due to small pockets of surviving Gigantopithecus, with the progenitor population having migrated across the Bering Land Bridge, which was later used by humans to enter North America. In January of 1985, he tried to formally name Bigfoot by presenting a paper at the meeting of the International Society of Cryptozoology, which was held in Sussex, England, assigning it the binomen Gigantopithecus blacki, which was rejected. Krantz then tried to have his paper entitled A Species Named from Footprints published to an academic journal, although it was rejected. After he saw stills of the Patterson-Gimlin film, which appeared in February 1968 cover of Argosy, he was skeptical. I feel this is interesting. He believed that the film was an elaborate hoax, saying it looked to me like someone wearing a gorilla suit. And this is a quote from him, I gave Sasquatch only 10% chance of being real. But after years of skepticism, he finally became convinced of Bigfoot's existence after analyzing the Cripplefoot plaster casts, which were gathered in Bossburg, Washington in 1969. Krantz later studied the Patterson-Gimlin film in full, and after taking notice of the creature's peculiar gait and purported anatomical features, she had some that bulging, some of those bulging muscles that looked like they were an injury, such as flexing leg muscles. He changed his mind and he became an advocate for the authenticity. While in Bossburg, he also met John Green, and the two remained friends until his death. Let's see. He actually constructed a biomechanical model of the Cripplefoot cast by calculating their distance, leverage, weight dynamics, and distribution. And he compared the data of the tracks, heel, ankle, and toe base. He concluded that the footprints had been left by an animal about 8 feet tall and weighing roughly 800 pounds. That's really interesting. The next one, let's see. Well, I want to just finish out that by saying that he was tenacious in his work, and he's been described as being the only scientist and one professional to seriously consider Bigfoot in his time, okay, in a field largely dominated by amateur naturalists. I also want to mention Dr. John Bindernagel. He was born in Ontario, Canada in 1941, and he passed away in 2018. He was a wildlife biologist. He had a BS in biology and a PhD in wildlife biology. He worked as a biologist in many countries, Africa, Asia, Oceania, and He moved to British Columbia in 1975, largely because the region was a hot spot for Bigfoot sightings. Over the years, he collected casts of tracks that he believed belonged to Bigfoot. He also claimed that to have heard the creatures near Comox Lake in 1992, comparing the whooping sound to that of a chimpanzee. He believed that Bigfoot phenomena should receive more attention from serious scientists, but he remarked the evidence doesn't get scrutinized objectively. We can't bring the evidence to our colleagues because it's perceived as taboo. He published a book entitled North America's Great Ape, the Sasquatch. And in his second book, The Discovery of Sasquatch, Reconciling Culture, History, and Science in the Discovery Process, that was published in 2010. He was a curator with the Bigfoot Field Research Organization until his death. And his claim that Sasquatch is a real-life species was not accepted by the scientific community. And all of his work largely rejected. I want to mention now here, let's go to some females researchers. A controversial figure, but I think she deserves a mention, is Mary Green. She was born in 1943 in Dayton, Ohio. She has since passed away, but I'm not sure. I want to say in the early 2000s. Do I have that in my research? Anyway, she's not related to John Green or the East Coast Bigfoot guy, Bill Green. Mary Green was nicknamed the Tennessee Bigfoot Lady, and she may have single-handedly created more controversy in the field than any other female Bigfoot researcher. You think? Mary is the author of 2 books, 50 Years with Bigfoot, Tennessee Chronicles of Coexistence, and Bigfoot at My Door. Her own personal experiences with Bigfoot allegedly began in 1963 when she moved with her husband to Dodson Branch, Tennessee. And they had settled into a trailer home in a very remote area near Rickman. She mentions that her first sighting, however, was much later. It occurred in February of 1998 while she was out with her youngest son. She actually got the reports first from her kids. And they told her stories of that they were seeing wild, hairy men around the property when they were out playing. But when her oldest daughter, Cindy, had her BlackBerry stolen, Mary began an investigation. According to her book, Bigfoot at My Door Chronicles, the family had a long history then of encounters with these creatures. Now, her book, 50 Years with Bigfoot, focused on the Carter farm in rural Tennessee. Mary had struck up a friendly relationship with Janice Carter Coy after Janice claimed her family had multiple past and ongoing encounters with Bigfoot. Carter and Green also released an audio CD in 2002. They supposedly had some kind of like a falling out, and Mary kind of walked away and felt that she was duped by Janice. But Janice has a sister who is currently, I'm not going to mention her name because I feel like it's not right for me to mention her name, but I've actually interviewed her, and she was the younger sister of Janice, and she backed up all of this. Okay. I really believe that it happened. Let's see. Also I have to mention that she investigated numerous Tennessee and Southern US reports. She was nicknamed, the Bigfoot Lady. She was a frequent commenter and contributor on, Bigfoot research for years. Because Mary Green was involved in the Janice Carter affair, the internet publicly discussed the incidents of how Carter had broken with her and they, defended her. In her heyday, though, she was among the researchers and was certainly the go-to researcher for in the South. She had her own organization, I believe it was the Gulf Coast Bigfoot Research Organization website. She maintained that. And had a long list of investigations and witness statements. Now, The last one that I want to mention is, of course, Autumn Williams. She started out as a childhood witness after she and her mother saw 2 Bigfoot on their property in Ording, Washington State. In 1990, she began conducting field research, and she was just 16 years old. For almost 20 years, she spent time researching all over the United States. And this is why one of my things that I really, really admire about her. Her goal was to develop a trust and rapport with these creatures and study them in their natural habitat. And that's what I'm all about, right, Brian? Her main area of focus was like long-term witnesses. Some people, we would call them habituators now, a phrase that she coined many years ago to describe these people who, as her family did, claimed to experience ongoing encounters with creatures near their homes. She was on several television series, many radio shows, and she's the author of Enoch, a Bigfoot Story. She was the person who was the first, who was able to secure the first in-person interview with Bob Gimlin at the site of the Patterson-Gimlin film in Bluff Creek, because Bob was so impressed with her work. So that's my list of contenders. But after you give us yours, I want to just add a few people that personally, I feel like should also be added to that. So what do you think about that, Brian?
I think our lists overlap way too much.
We should have compared notes
you're
before.
Prepared than I was on this, because I'm just literally going off what moved me the most, growing up. And then as we're talking and as we're getting to know people, I mean, because there's some great researchers in the group, in the chat.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like, sorry, guys. But for me, how I went about
Standing Stones.
My opinions on this were who really moved the needle for Bigfoot to be okay to talk about. This isn't necessarily who's the best researcher. It's like who's the most, because you got Tom in there. And like you said, the original 4 Horsemen. I kind of put my foot in my mouth earlier when I said, the Gimlin film is the foundation, because technically it's not. Those people were pre-Gimlin.
Yeah.
They're 1950s, and what are we coming up on, the 58th anniversary of the Patterson-Gimlin film now?
Yeah.
So,
right.
They were 10 years before Patty. I mean, so, but the people.
Well, and they were hired. I'm trying to think I feel like they were kind of hired by. Was it John Green and was it Grover Crane? One of these other guys kind of wanted them to go out and see if they could, get some actual physical evidence, because there were these in that area footprints, and and that's how that.
Yeah. So I mean, like the original 4 Horsemen. How do you go? I'm going by, everybody knows Bob Gimlin's story. I don't know how much he actually researched after that, though.
I don't. He didn't at all before. I don't think he did. I think he had enough after the one. Yeah. They were just like rodeo, he was a rodeo cowboy and knew how to handle horses, and that's why Roger Patterson wanted him to come along. So just strictly because they knew this was going to be this camp. It's I can't remember how many miles in. Do you recall, like, from any main roads? And so they knew they were going to have to camp in and kind of a
3-day ride or something.
Yeah, and then they were there. I think they were in there for a week. So and then it was the last day up there. Doesn't that just that to me is like, that just figures. Because that's how Sasquatch research goes. The very last day, the very last amount of film.
That's why I didn't explain it without being a spoiler on it. But it just 2 weeks of prep, and then you get 1 hour on your very last day, and no chance to go back after it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's, Paul Freeman to me was a big one with
Yes.
his, their, next best footage, um, and somebody that again got called hoaxer, but now people are starting to give that film some love.
Mhm.
And, now he's starting to be vindicated after his passing. So it's kind of cool to see that. To me, MK Davis
Mhm.
is a big one because of the work that he did on, the original stabilization of the Patterson Gimlin film and all the love and effort he put into that. And the fact
Mhm.
that he got to know, I don't know if you remember if he talked to Roger, but he's really good friends with Mrs. Patterson up until the point. And all his film evidence and everything that he goes through on his, what is it, Green Wave 2010,
I
and
believe so.
the
Yeah.
various Bigfoot footage that where he's gotten from different researchers. I don't. Have you ever watched his channel
So yeah. Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the big white one and the black one come out of the barn that were actually pushing and shoving on each other? It's like, I mean, the
Yeah.
people that did that research figured out they could shoot video by looking at having the camera pointed at the mirror so the light didn't come off. It's pretty
Yeah.
up there. Then you've got your Steve Coles from Squatch Detective.
Mhm.
The way he brings in his police background and debunks a bunch of things, and he's made some pretty cool stuff. And he was one of the original podcast. I think he was the original Bigfoot podcast.
Was he
So
really? I didn't realize
yeah,
that. Wow.
let me double
Wow.
check, but he was one of the first. Way back when they turned the internet on. I'm old enough to remember that.
Well, I'm older than you, so
No, I don't think so. Are you?
yeah. Yeah, I am.
We won't go into numbers. I
No.
never asked the lady your numbers.
Yeah. I,
Yeah, the books and uh, one of my, I've actually talked like 3 times. So I'm going to put it out there because I think he is a big needle mover, and without him, a lot of this stuff would not be okay. He's kind of what I would call the guy who bridged the gap between what the Four Horsemen did and where we are today, and that would be Matt Moneymaker.
yeah. Yeah.
From Finding Bigfoot, founding the
Mhm.
BFRO in 1995, and all the shows. And yeah, you know, he says what's on his mind, whether you like it or not. But
Mhm.
um, we live. Any speech is free speech. So
Yeah.
whether you agree with the ideas or not,
Yep. Yeah.
and um, and believe it or not, the information he gave me was good, because when I first started doing this in 2019, and I, on a whim, it was like with Dr. Jeff Meldrum, on a whim, sent him a thing. Hey, I'm in Michigan, and I had a couple prints and sent them to him, and he sent me back. I said, where should I go next? And he sent me back. He said, go 3 clicks of where you're up the Manistee River.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, it was very
Whoa.
short, very. I'm like,
That's cool.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Somebody now, did he respond or did his team? I don't know. We
Yeah.
didn't, but
But
and
even
sure
so,
enough, it was. Let's see. So that was 2019. So flashback to 2024, and that leads us to the Tippy Dam, and where that picture I've been flashing around with the Bigfoot hiding behind the tree. That's where it was at.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And he and Bobo and Renee took Bigfoot to the point where it was okay.
Mhm.
Were the methods great? No, you're not going to take a whole camera full of 40 people into the woods. And
Yeah. Yeah.
the whole solo camping thing always cracked me up. Oh, we're solo camping tonight. It's like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah. You're right. Right.
Who's filming you? Somebody's
Yeah.
filming you. You're not
Yeah.
solo. Solo means one, not two.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after that, a lot of, even during Monster Question, Doug Hychek, we got to,
Yeah. Doug Hychek is another one. Yeah.
you got to throw that
Certainly.
name out there with Monster Quest and everything he's
Mhm.
done.
Definitely.
Our co-host on Camp Nightmare Fear, Kenny, is good. Seems to be pretty good friends with him, and
Mhm.
so the risk he was willing to take to put those shows out there, you know,
Yeah.
and which gave Dr. Meldrum some spotlight.
Yeah.
You know, I think anybody in here who's watched Monster Quest remembers that famous episode where they were out on the, what do they call it, Ape Island,
Yeah.
and outside and the rocks start flying. And next thing you know, all the Bigfoot researchers looking to find Bigfoot are in the house trying to get away from Bigfoot. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and Dr. Meldrum made a comment. Yeah, what do all the researchers do? We're hiding. You know,
Yeah. Right.
so you know, I think he's got to go up there. But then when you look back at the people who took a lot of guff, you know, like you know, John Green took some guff even with finding Bigfoot. When he, remember the famous video from the candy bar? Was
Yeah.
it him or Bindernagel? One of the two. I think it was Green, right?
I don't know. It may have been Bindernagel because it may have been John Bindernagel. I don't know. You know, I'm not sure. Because that could have, well, that would have been, he would have still been alive during that. So maybe it was. It could have been. I don't know. Anyway.
Let's see. Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
John Green finding Bigfoot. No, it would have been Bindernagel.
Okay. That's all right. Okay.
So, yep, he says not associated with the TV series, but rather a historical figure respected in authority.
Mm-hmm.
So, so John Bindernagel caught the thermal footage of the Bigfoot creeping up, grabbing the candy bar, and even big old Bobo couldn't recognize that.
Yes,
you know?
Right.
And but I don't think the whole team deserves to be on that Mount Rushmore because Moneymaker was the driving force behind it.
Yeah, and while well, I mean, Renee is a complete skeptic, and you know, so not even a Bigfoot researcher, except that she was there to be the skeptic, and you know, and she did a good job. She's certainly like a badass, you know, like whoa, the stuff that I mean, you know, I got to give her that, like wow.
Yeah, she was not afraid to say what was on her mind.
No, and she still is out. I follow her, and she on Facebook, and she's still like always out like researching and you know and doing this like solo camping. And she's from my area, so like I would not. I really give it to women that go out by themselves, like on overnight camping expeditions, certainly in the Pacific Northwest, because man, what I heard when we were out, I was with 4 people overnight. No, not ever going to do it by myself. Never. So
no, and you know, and that's why I mean, there's so many people now that are out there doing good. You got, you know, She Squatchers and Jason Kenzie doing things, and
yeah,
you know, so it's like it's almost like we have to have I
know
a golden age and a modern era. You know, almost like 2 different national parks here.
Right.
So we got Bluff Creek over here for the golden age, and then Whitehall for the for the modern or something like that.
Yes. I wanted to get her page right. Kathy Westerman. Oh my gosh, she's a good friend of mine, researcher. And she is Bigfoot World Cryptids and the Paranormal Researchers of Central Florida. Man, if you guys have not seen her YouTube channel, so yeah, it's Bigfoot World Cryptids and the Paranormal Researchers of Central Florida. Go and check it out. That team is I think she calls it a group. She doesn't. You know, it's not hers. It's like everybody in this on this research. I think it's group. I know she hates one of them, and I can never remember. I'm so sorry, Kathy. But man, they get the best, and the thermal. Oh my gosh, like really?
Yeah, because Tim T's on her team, right? If I remember right.
Yes, Tim T. John. Or James. Oh my gosh. Yeah, all these names are gonna. I'm looking at her. Yeah, they. Let's see, because I'm on. Yeah, everybody's. Yeah, Pam Esper. Let's see.
Sonny's putting another link up there. Bigfoot World Cryptid.
Yeah. Thank you, Sonny. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you. I want to say it's James. You know what? I'm his friend. I should just look to see what they just put one up recently that, okay, yeah, James Whitfield. They were in an area. I mean, they're from, Florida. So, I'm not sure what that area was, but they have photographic evidence that there's a creature standing behind him that certainly looks like, well, a Bigfoot, but a smaller one. So maybe it's a skunk ape, because it had a different shape than what, like, the Sasquatch that I've seen. It was kind of like stocky and stout, but it had like thin legs, and but its arms were long. It kind of had not a conical head, like more of like a rounded head. And it was just fleeting that you can see it. But I don't know, they don't know if this is something that that the creature was able to manipulate the footage, or was it coming? I don't know. Do they come in and out of existence? Do they go in, like people say, like, do they go into dimensions? I don't know, but it is not there. And then it's there. And when it is there, James is very, like, it's blurry, but so is James. So it's like the energy was like, vibrating the camera, whatever it was doing, because it goes from like clear to this little situation. And man, like, I don't even know what to say about that. It was so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's what I mean. It's so hard to pick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or because you got so many people that are doing it as good, and in some cases, like Kathy Westerman, even better research or getting better evidence. Let's go that route.
Yes, yeah.
Finding better evidence, not necessarily doing better research, but finding better evidence than some of but they're not getting it mainstream somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's sad because, like, Barb Shoop's video.
Oh, Barb Shoop is another one that I wanted to mention. Amazing.
And that's another one
dedicated. Like she does camp outs all summer long, where they go for a few days, almost, I feel like it's a week almost. And all kinds of things. I mean, talk about just has all her research ducks in a row, and is consistent, and has all this great group of people that consistently go out. Tom Cantrell is part of that. And when when his health allows, just a great group of people.
Yeah. So anybody in chat, feel free to put a name up, because there are so many. And
thank you to the mods for adding those. That's really nice for adding those. Marie Dumont. Yeah. She's another. Now I have not seen evidence that Marie, have you seen evidence from Marie? I don't know. Cause some people are like, they're out there all the time and they might be getting evidence, but they're not like releasing it. But I don't know. Have you seen like Marie Dumont?
I've seen some from the group when Chris Hensley posts some stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Other than that.
Yeah.
But Barb Shoop's video is still giving up secrets. They couldn't recreate it then with the famous Glimmer Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Footage. Hollywood couldn't recreate it. They even tried, and now people are slowing it down and zooming in and finding out there was something even before the Glimmer Man took off. And so, I mean, you got to throw her name in the hat.
For sure.
Again, Freeman.
And they're not really researchers, but I love how they're devoting their time and their money and their energy. Jill Remensnyder and her husband Brett. I mean, they're doing the Flash of Beauty series, just amazing. And then they're doing the Voices in the Wilderness, which is going to be all about Ron Moorhead, one of my favorites. Oh my God, I love Ron, love him. We got to talk about Ron Moorhead.
Ron Moorhead is, you got the Sierra sounds that.
Yes.
And look how deep he goes. I mean, we're talking topics I don't even begin to. Quantum physics and mechanics and quantum computers and how far.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah. I read his books, and when I interviewed him, I'm like, can you put this into simplified terms? Because I just. But he said, like, if this isn't something that you really like, you got to think completely not even outside the box, outside of your whole realm but it's science, but it's science based that he feels that they can use, they can disappear and reappear with quantum physics mechanics.
Yeah, because
Now,
you personally experienced where you're following, impressions. I mean, maybe they're not the best tracks, but they're impressions. There's a steady pattern. And then all of a sudden you get to like a field and it stops.
Yeah.
There's no trees. There's no, I don't think it perfectly backtracked 8 steps to get somewhere. It's where to go.
Yeah.
Well, and then I think I asked that question to Ron on a show when everybody got to ask him a question, and there was a point where he actually thinks they're able to manipulate their body weight. Now, why they do it, I don't know. And I don't think, maybe Ron doesn't know, but there's the path. And all of a sudden they're light enough where maybe they don't make as deep impressions.
Yeah.
But
could be.
But the one thing that isn't a matter of opinion, but is matter of fact, is those Sierra sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond their range. They've been analyzed by how many people?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
So
yeah, and he's such a, oh my gosh, what a great, my first communication with Ron is I had bought I bought one of his books, and then I saw that I could buy the Sierra sounds and associated sounds that they had recorded during that trip that were analyzed, and the links weren't working. So I thought, I'm just gonna send an email to the website, and he, like, within an hour answered me personally, and he was like, you know what, these are old links, but here, let me send you my, like, some files. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what a fantastic gentleman. Just sends me a bunch of files to download because he said, I want you to be able to hear them. I'm like, wow. And he didn't know me from anybody. I mean, it wasn't because, Barb Hartman did a podcast. No. This was before that. I just was so impressed by that. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and the way he handles himself, even when confronted with skeptics.
Yes.
Moneymaker will argue and get hot under the collar.
Yeah.
Insults will start flying, but Ron's just calm and cool and has a conversation.
Yeah.
And you hear stories about him talking to people and where they come in hot and heavy, and he just is kind and gentle, and then all of a sudden they're, yes, you know what, sir, thank you, and they sit down.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yep.
So Ron's got to be up there. We, what names are we tossing around now? Or we got the original 4 Horsemen, Dr. Meldrum, R.I.P.
Bob Gimlin.
Obviously,
I mean, we said that they are the mountain, but then really, it's like, well, but I still feel like he needs to go up there because his life he's had such a rough time because of this, and I've heard him say, there's been times that I wish I never even was involved in this because of the hard time he has had.
Well, that was the whole Autumn Williams. He would,
yes,
37 years before he gave that interview.
Yeah.
And if there's no Autumn Williams, Bob Gimlin probably never comes forward because he felt she was a good heart and would do the right thing with it from watching her stuff. So,
yep.
Yeah, I know we talked about, Patterson and them being the mountain, but at the same time, like you said, they deserve the recognition of.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because, they were the golden age needle movers with that film. And then you got people who kind of bridged the gap. You had stuff trickle in like Freeman footage and some of the stuff from Monster Quest. And then you had Finding Bigfoot that took it off and made it okay to talk about these great research.
Yeah. Right.
And actually be able to give them credit instead of people just giving them hate.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Old Bear's been like dealing with them for years. Like that's another one. Like He's so many. I mean, I like. It's amazing, and this is how Tom Cantrell is too. Although those guys have different, they have different philosophies, like ideologies on Sasquatch. And I don't know if that's because Tom has been strictly dealt with them, on the in the Pacific Northwest and up in Canada. Are they different? I feel like they might be. Whereas Old Bear's in a different area. I don't know.
I would
Brian
imagine.
Brian Bland, I just wanted to mention him, and his buddy, is it Randy? I can't think of his last name. I'm so sorry, but anyway, yeah, have for years and years, great evidence.
Yeah, you got Shane Carpenter and Randy Harrington.
Yes,
In
the
the Big
Olympic
400.
Project. Yeah, yeah.
I know this one's going to be debated, but you got Dr. Ketchum in there.
Oh no, definitely. I agree. Yeah. Well, and she's
Okay.
somebody that didn't the thing that. Oh, and you know what? Well, before for like Scott Carpenter, we have to rest in peace. He is fantastic.
Yeah.
Had fantastic evidence. But yeah, Dr. Ketchum, people. She didn't care. She did not believe that they existed at all. When she took this, she didn't take it to prove their existence. She took that as because it was a job, and she was good, and she had the ability to analyze the DNA as it should be, and that's why she was picked. And all this other stuff that people say, oh, she wanted to put her thoughts and her beliefs into it. No, she just was doing a job, because not a lot of labs have the capability, laboratories have the capability to do what needed to be done.
Yeah, and with you explaining that, it reminds me of Bob Daigle, who I've had a couple interactions with, where his whole purpose to get into it was to prove that the photos were doctored, because he was a military analyst of satellite photos. And then he starts looking at these pictures and he's like, holy crap, they're real.
Yeah.
And that was when Val Zalvala, I hope I said that right.
Oh yeah. I know who you're Val.
He said I had sent Val pictures of the two big footprints with the deer prints going next to it. He said, I think there's something more to this. He said, I got a buddy I'm going to send him to. I'm like, okay. And then it dawned on me. It's like, wait a minute, what buddy are you sending him to? And he's like, Bob Daigle. And I'm like, oh crap.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Like, I am going to get ripped apart on this,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, about, I think it was 2 days later, my messenger goes off and I look, and it's from Bob Daigle. I'm like, holy crap. He responded personally. He says, looked at your photos. I lightened them for you. You've got 2 on the left and 1 on the right.
That's awesome, isn't it?
I'm
so
like, holy, Bob Daigle just verified my pictures and pulled out Sasquatch I didn't know about.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, that was and I will look after the show and find this guy's name. It was a name because Dr. Ketchum's actually talked to me a couple times. And she the name of the guy who, when I got the peanut butter jar, this one, that had the oily fingerprints, she gave me his number, and he had originally gotten into the game. He was a FBI fingerprint analysis and primate for fingerprints and footprints. And she had given me his name because he would be able to tell me how to package it and do everything and send. But at the time, she said, I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but I would look it up. And again, he was another one that got into, I'm going to prove these tracks are crap. Yeah. I'm an expert in human and primatology footprints and all this. I'm going to prove it crap. And then when he looked at, I think it was it Patterson?
Yeah.
It was several of them. It was Patty, it was Paul Freeman, and then a couple Dr. Meldrum had.
Okay.
And so he looked at them all, and they all had different dermal ridges and all this stuff. And he's like, no, he said, I'm not going to say it's Bigfoot, but there's something out there making these prints.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I'm one of the four horsemen. Let me see. I'm trying to think who it was, but that had extensive knowledge. Anyway, he had said kind of the same thing. When you're looking at these, and I may not even included it in my notes. When you're looking at these things, like for somebody to fake this, you would have to have extensive knowledge. It's like impossible. Really, it's impossible to fake. And it's really strange, like with that, that they've been able to identify like the mid-tarsal break. And gosh, it's bizarre because I've come across some of those and I've seen some of those. People have sent them to me. Do you think these are, Bigfoot? And I'm like, well, I'm not a footprint. I'm not a print person. Like, I don't know. I don't know. They don't interest me, but I certainly like to look at them and I like to find them, but I couldn't tell you if they were. Tom Cantrell, I always send them off to him and he can tell me if they are or they aren't, right? But yeah, that's so interesting with that mid-tarsal break, or you'll have the cripple foot or the like some of them seem to have splayed toes, and then some of them have like a very thin, foot. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and there's a friend of mine, Gerald Evilsor. I hope I said that right. Evilsor. And I send a bunch of stuff I find, like tracks and stuff. I'll send them to him, and to tell you how good I am at this is a really good indicator how good I am at tracks. So I'm out looking, and I find what I think is a baby print, because it's only half my foot length. It's about
oh my
that
gosh,
long.
yeah,
but it's half inch deep, and I'm like, holy crap! It's a small foot, but it's heavy.
Yeah.
So I put my foot next to it, and I take a picture, send it off, and he's like, yeah, you got a great baby print, but what about the big print? And I'm like, what big print? And so he circles it and sends it back to me, and sure enough, about where my foot is, if you go about 6 inches up, there's 5 toes.
Oh my gosh.
And then of course,
wow.
I get to how some Bigfoot researcher you are, you put your foot right in the print, dumbass.
Yeah. No, I've done that. Yeah.
So it's like, so that's why I have to send stuff off. It's like,
yeah. I think I had one with Mike Scott. I think I sent it to him. I don't remember if it was Mike or if it was Tom, and they of a print. Yeah. And they said, well, how about, is it possible for you to go out and take another picture where you're not standing in the print or standing on part of it? I was like, oops.
My bad.
Yeah. Russell Easterbrooks. My gosh, we have to mention him. Oh, talk about like a wealth of knowledge. Oh, whoa. Historical like knowledge. Like, wow.
Yeah. One of those guys that proves that you don't have to see one to prove anything.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Russell's out to prove anything. He's just showing you, kind of like MK Davis, does, is here's the information, do with it what you will. Right. But the way Russell's able to draw those things out of history and make it make it an easy read. His book is great.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yes. I was hoping it's in my bedroom and I'm in my office.
Yeah. If I go out, Bear's going to go ape crap. So, but yeah, like there's so many good names.
Yeah.
Who are we forgetting? I mean, you got.
Well, I want to mention like two of my really good friends. Now, Tamara Wilson is she's in my area. She's a researcher. She has health issues now, so she can't really get out. She got out recently to a new area on a reservation, and she got some really wild like photos. But it's like she can't go deep into the territory because of her physical limitations. And then another one is Carrie Ann O'Meara. She's from Australia. She also has limitations, but they can like read energy. And so if I'm like, okay, this picture that I got looks like a Sasquatch, but it looks almost like smeared. And hey, Hi, Daniel. Thank you for joining us, Magical Journey Podcast. Hey, and and they can say, "Oh no, Barb, this is what," and look at this one and that one and this one, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize," So there's people that are good. I think it's really interesting, how people are either able to see things that and I know that this is something that people make fun of, and you have paranoia, blah blah blah, you think there's Bigfoot everywhere. I've been accused of that, but the thing is, I'm not going to put why would I put pictures in my videos or whatever if there's nothing in them? Like, why I don't want to see a long video where there's nothing. So I choose to try to put in where I mean, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Who's going to watch them if I'm just putting all these boring videos with really nothing? Maybe.
And not only that, like we harped on, if one of us puts a little bit of BS out there, our name is done. And that's all we've got.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and a lot of it, it's like, hey, there's Kathy. We were just talking about you. Kathy Westerman. Gosh, yeah, you got to check out her Bigfoot World Cryptids Paranormal Central Florida. Man, check out their channel because. Gosh.
And then Bigfoot Input. She sends a lot of pictures to Bigfoot Input.
Yeah.
And that was where I learned about Kathy, actually, was Bigfoot Input, was seeing some of the pictures she put up. And it's like, my God, are they good?
Wow.
Anybody who's against the red circles, we won't go into that. But a lot of the stuff Kathy puts up there, there's no red circles needed when you see faces. And it's pretty spectacular.
It's funny, too, because I know people hate red circles, but also if somebody, sends me a picture and I have no idea where I'm looking, because let's just face it, most of there's some clear stuff, but for the most part, it's this like, it's blurry. Sometimes it looks like you could have a completely clear picture, and then an area will be just one little area is blurry. Like, why is that? That doesn't, happen. And I don't know. You're right. Daniel says, yeah, people hate too much. They do. I would rather if somebody, maybe not a circle, but like, tell me where I'm supposed to be looking in the photo, because a lot of times it's like, well, I might not see it there, but then there's something over there. And without knowing, the lay of the land, without knowing what else is there, because we know there's things that in the woods that, gosh, can look just like a Sasquatch or something else, a dog man, and, and it's a log. It's a slag, it's just something that's not at all, not at all that, but it certainly looks like it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it takes practice.
Yeah.
If I say, okay, Barb, I can bench 350, and guess what? Go ahead and lay down.
Yeah.
You're going to look at me. There's going to be some choice. Have you lost your mind? I mean, without knowing, it's practice and repetition, and those red circles allow people to see those shapes and then go, okay, in the next picture, this is what I'm looking for. And then eventually you'll get to the point where you don't need the red circles. But Jennifer Appleton.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
How many people have gotten a Bigfoot drunk off rum cake? I mean, you got to put Jennifer in there.
Yes. And I'll tell you, a lot of these ladies like Jennifer, Kathy, Carrie Ann, and Tamara, we have this little, like I call it, like the Bigfoot Besties group, because they are all like similar thought processes as I do. And it's not, no offense to it, but like, I feel comfortable with them. They'll tell me, no, it's not, but Jennifer has shared some photos with me that I'm like, are you kidding me? And she's like, I'm not going to even release these because nobody's going to believe this. There's one, the first one that floored me. There's a little Sasquatch, a little baby Sasquatch was like up on her deck and peeking in the window. It was a video. And I'm like, wait, that looks like a stuffed animal, but it wasn't, because then you see that it's not. Like, oh my gosh, are you telling me this is a real Bigfoot? Yep. Yeah. And then we've seen the video where the one, you see it where like during a thunderstorm where the one like comes running out of the woods. Have you seen that one? Because when Grizzly and I had her on the show, and oh my gosh. And then there's like a flash of light, which he's like, wait, is that inside your house? She's like, no, that's outside. That's because then you can see that this Bigfoot is like in front of that light. It's just like bizarre.
I got a buddy with a cam, and I'm going to put him on blast. Name's DJ. We won't go the full name, but he's got a trail cam picture. Once he heard about Bigfoot, he says, well, I want you to look at this. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, just look at it. And so I looked at it and I go, you need to send me this. He's like, no. He said, I'm not putting this out there. I'm not going to be, labeled some kind of wacko, but it is a baby Bigfoot sticking his face in the trail cam looking at it. It looks like a big monkey. He's like, he said, it looked like an effing monkey. I said, that's not an effing monkey. That's an effing Bigfoot.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
You need to let me have this. He's like, no, I'm not.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's like, so but it showed me that there's so many people out there with stuff that they aren't willing to put out, either A, because of the ridicule.
Yeah.
B, because of, I hate to say, greed. But they think they got the $1 million photo, and until somebody makes the price right.
Yes.
And then there's just some people, oh my God, I can't believe I'm drawing a name on her from chat. Lives in the UP. Anyway, she's not releasing any of that stuff, even though she's got a clan on her property, because of the fact she's worried people will come and harass them. So
yes. Yeah. Jane from Chiro Sounds and Geralt from Midwest Night Watchers, and they're in the, oh my gosh, they get like such crazy audio, and she sent me this video, I think it was like last year, and I'm like, Jane, that looks like a Bigfoot, like a bunker, I would call it. And she's like, oh no, I think it's, and then sure enough, she started seeing some things, hearing some things around it. I mean, it's like, there's so much great evidence out there. But you have to open your mind to it. You can't think, hey, Lord Star Fox Kenny. You can't go into it thinking everything's up. That's false, fake, hoax, You can't. And I get it that it is hard to, when, that thing that you sent that to Kenny and I, that that video, if you want to,
the one with the tree stump.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I had been looking long and hard for that video and could not find it. And then after a couple of years, it popped up in my feed from 6 years ago. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. And that's amazing. I'll tell you. That I don't want to say triggered. That's not the right feeling. But when I saw that one shot of that Sasquatch, and it's almost like you can't see his features. He has his face like this, and you can't see his features like clear, but you can see that it is a face. That is so much like the one I saw, like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I was like it kind of like got my heart like racing a little bit. Like, and I think I said that to you.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, we can put the link up to that video.
Yeah.
I'll throw that up so other people can see it. Because to me, that's one of the good ones. Another one that evidence that flies under the radar. And I think the reason why it does is because of the fact they did a recreation video. So then people think the whole thing is recreated. Yeah. Instead of actual pictures. Mm-hmm. You got actual pictures those weren't recreated. The video was recreated. That was on the VHS tape that got lost or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But it's so many. Oh. And people with,
I know, and I feel terrible. Like I feel like we're probably forgetting people. I'm going to start to think about people, as as we get out. Yeah.
As we wind her up here, but
Yeah.
I encourage people put in the comments names, because
Yeah.
we need about a week and we'll get it figured out and put the official announcement up in the group, up in No Drama.
Cindy, well, then I'm thinking of all these people, like Cindy Buedo Goodbreak, Cindy Ann. She's the one that, like, man, when she lived in well, I think she still has a house in Idaho, and she's been researching for years. And she and I have been friends for like maybe 10 years. And she would send me, this is before I lived here, where, the Sasquatch, and I've heard them. She would send me audio, like, yeah, this is what I got last night. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so terrifying. Like, I don't know what I would do. Now here I am in that situation.
If you would have asked me before, I would, with the audio you've caught, it's like, I want to put Barb's name in there with the evidence. I mean,
jeez,
I'll tell you, a lot of that audio you just can't deny. And when you got people running it through spectrographs for you, and it doesn't fit
Chris
in.
Hensley would do that for and it comes to a point where I'm not gonna ask people to do it. Like, I'm not qualified to do that, and I have a program that can do it, but I still don't think, but after you have it done so many times, how many times can you have it done? And then it's like, what else are you listening to? I wanted to tell you guys, this has been, let me see, it was one of the last times that we were home. So maybe like 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. My daughter and I are out on the back deck, and somebody has a temporary, like floating dock on the water, because we live on the Puget Sound, and somebody had this floating dock. Well, there were seals that like to come up and and lay on it, and because people they put their boats out, obviously, like all summer long, so that you can just go out, take your dinghy or your skiff out, and and go around. So we're watching these, and then we realized that there's like a brand new baby seal. Like, that was so cool, right? Then I hear this noise. I'm like, wait a minute. The seal was making this growling noise, and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds exactly like the growler that I have a ton of video on. And I'm like thinking, wait a minute, am I getting the growler? But then I said to my husband, I said, come out here and listen to this. He's like, wow, that growler is mimicking that seal, because I've caught the growler like up at our the road, which is like, a seal would have to come up 80 feet because we're on a high bank, 80 feet, then another 10 feet because we're up another 10 feet, and then another 20, 30 feet to get to this camera that's up in our carport, like near the road. That's not possible. And you can hear it approaching the camera. And that's one of them that recently has started to come up to the camera, and it's almost like the thing's saying hello. Like, and I think it's mimicking now. I'd never heard that. But talk about like, being triggered when I hear this, like, rawr, I'm like, oh my God, that's the growler. But because I never knew that seals could, and I was Brian, I was kind of like, oh my God, have I been putting out this evidence that, like, oh my God, this is a seal the whole time? But then, come to reality. No, there's no way that seal that's a seal that's that, And I think it was growling because of the baby, because there was another one on this little dock, and it was so cute because the baby kept like, and it looked like a brand new. It kept like going off into the water, and then there was this other one that was laying on it, and the baby's trying to get up on the dock, and the mom is like trying to get the baby up on the dock, and this other one is laying there, and the mom's like, "Get off the dock! I'm trying to get my baby up on this dock." So
maybe on board.
Cute. Yeah, so cute.
Oh, where do we begin?
Anybody else? Did
I tell you that I had a recorder stolen?
Oh no. And it never turned back up, because I feel like you did, but we were wondering if it was going to show back up. It never has. So tell everybody here
Yep.
in the chat.
That was
Yeah.
another story where I was really, keen observation where the owner and I had gone out, and this is property that butts right up to my grandma's old property. So this is kind of full circle for me, where the Bigfoot began back in the 70s with my grandma.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of winding down to my age and,
That's
able to go to right next door to it and finding prints, finding tree structures, uh, questionable stuff in pictures. So it's like, okay, time to put, because he had made a comment that his dog won't go out at night now to in the back, and the neighbor's dog down the road won't go out in the back. So I said, well, let's put a couple recorders out and see what happens. So he goes with me. We put the recorder out. Ironically, I put it in a little baggie. Ironically, we gorilla tape it to the tree. So it's in a little baggie. Microphones ran up. We go to get it a couple days later, and I'm looking, and it's like I couldn't see the recorder, but the gorilla tape was still there. And we get up to it, and I'm looking, and sure enough, the gorilla tape's there, the baggie's there, but the recorder's gone. And I'm like, well, what the heck? Effing raccoon or squirrel or something just ran off of my $100 recorder. And I'm looking around, tromping around, and he's like, wait, wait, wait. I'm like, what? And he goes, you're stepping in all the tracks. I'm like, what tracks?
Oh, yeah.
And sure enough, I stop and look, and there's 17-inch tracks, imprints, a couple good tracks that come from the woods up to the tree and then keep on going.
Wow.
I am like, he kind of looked at me funny, but I'm like, will you please give that back? That was expensive, begging that
Yeah.
I find my recorder that they give it back. But haven't found it yet.
Wow. I wonder if it'll show back up eventually, because
Yeah,
Barb
and-
tells those stories that they show back up eventually. But I wonder if yours will.
Well, I had it happen 3 times where something's come back. So,
Wow.
but that was at a different area.
Okay.
That was where everything started, where they returned. I lost a flashlight, and it was a couple months later, and that flashlight showed up in my parking spot. No idea where I lost it, but it showed up in perfect condition.
Wow.
And some people say, oh, well, no, it wasn't a dime a dozen flashlight. It was a special edition little Tomb Raider video game flashlight.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
very easily identifiable,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah.
I had a dog clicker that I would use, because sometimes you would get like a knock or something with the dog clicker. And I went down after a friend had passed. I'm crying my eyes out. And this was the weird part, because then I hear like a little, kind of a mournful, howl. And I
Yes.
stopped for a minute and didn't think, oh, that was, kind of cool. But, and I keep listening to the music, and I had 3 howls. And I went, son of a
Wow.
gun, they're picking up on us. And I feel bad for being out here, that they're picking up on my sadness, that I'm making them sad. So I left. I get in my car, and I'm like, I left, my dog clicker's gone. It's like, it's in the woods somewhere. I have no idea where it's at. That's gone. And when I go back the following Saturday, this was a Thursday, the dog clicker is tied to the cattle gate that you go through to get down the trail.
Oh my gosh.
So
What the heck, right? What the heck?
yeah, and there was a glow in the dark ball that I'd put out. It sat for weeks, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And I thought, okay, fine. 3 months later, it's back in the same spot. And I'm like, there's not a chew mark on it. Let's see if I can see it. But I'm like, what they put it back for? What's this about? And then I got in the car, and it hit me. So I put it under my shirt and looked, and it quit glowing. It wouldn't glow anymore.
Oh, wow.
So
that's weird.
So I thought, well, maybe they put it back because it was not glowing. But
yeah, that's weird.
Wasn't a Dogman at my grandma's. Dogman was at in Newaygo with my mom and grandma and grandpa. Yep.
Okay.
Which that happened in '64. They moved to Lake Ann in '65, and they had started having Bigfoot activity in '66 on that property. So,
wow. Yeah. You're just like
that's how I got in.
Yeah. You're destined to, because they're obviously like attracted, I feel like, to your family,
Yeah, that
Wow.
was, and it was funny because my mom finally got into the point where she's like, okay, I want to go with you. And we go out and we
Oh,
find, I mean, a fairly nice half track where you got like two toes and comes down around. It was the outside two, and then you had the heel, and it came up to just about where the big toe would have been. And she's like, okay. I'm like, Mom, you know how many people look their entire lives and never find this? And she's like,
yeah.
yeah, that's cool, but I want to hear one now. Like, well, I can't. They're not capuchin monkeys. They don't dance to the organ, so we'll have to try another night. So
Yeah. So, uh, Stan, oh, that's interesting. Stan wants you to tell that story about, he said, please, about the
oh,
dog
the dog
man.
man.
Yeah.
So that would have been in '64,
Okay.
and they lived in Newaygo, which is right at the bottom edge of Manistee National Forest.
Okay.
So
Oh,
you got, dog man country.
yeah.
And one evening they're just family dinner, grandma and grandpa and their 7 kids, and 4 boys, 3 girls. And it was a foggy night, and it was past dark, and all of a sudden their German Shepherd started barking, and then they heard it yelp, and then a few minutes later the dog got thrown through the window, the big picture window, with the chain wrapped around
Oh,
his neck.
no.
And so they put the uh, bookcase in front of the window. Something was jiggling the doorknob. So my grandpa had those old he was a World War II vet. He had the Purple Heart for injury and stuff like that. And he had, remember those in the movies? You see those flashlights with the big like 12-volt battery
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
car battery. So he had that, and a couple of kids with the flashlights, and they went up on the roof, and they could hear something walking around.
Oh,
And at one point, they did get a good look at it, and it was bipedal, black, with a wolf's head and like a lion's mane almost.
whoa.
And so they wasn't a clear enough shot without worrying about where that stray was going to go. And so they sat up there another couple hours till morning broke, and then they came back down because it had wandered off. So that was their dogman experience.
Did the dog that was the dog? This is
Yeah.
just dog die. The German
Yep, dog
Shepherd.
was unalived.
Oh my God. That's so sad. I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I could live there, like continue to
They
live
were.
there.
I don't know if that was what caused it, but they moved shortly after to Lake Ann.
Okay. Okay. I don't blame them. I don't. Yeah. Like,
So I don't. When I first heard that story, we
my
were
God.
pretty little, so I thought it was one of those stories you hear to scare you. And so, I finally, it was just a couple of years ago, I asked my mom about it, and I'm like, hey, is that true? Or is that, one of these? And she's like, no,
Yeah.
that happened.
Oh, hey,
So,
Dan, how are you? Wow. That's so sad. Yeah. I live very close to that, and you probably that 911 call, where the guy, yeah. So, get somebody out here. Just threw my dog over. Yeah, ripped my dog or threw it over the fence and was killed, ripped it in half. Yeah, man. We obviously we don't we keep Asher he is not allowed to even to run loose at all in the yard. And even with my other dog, my other grand dog, that my son's dog, I don't let him get anywhere near the woods, and particularly not at dark. Like at dark, you stay right by, you're here, stay right by me. Cause that I can't. Hey, John. Yeah, I could not handle that. That is just so tragic. And people,
yeah.
like, Well, that was a dog man, so I don't really know about, dog. I have no experience with them. They can
Nope.
be.
Lord Starfox in the chat's the only reason why I even dig into it, because
Yeah.
I have no desire to look for it. I have no desire to definitely have no desire to find one.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just, you don't hear, other
Yeah.
than I do not know why I cannot think of her name from chat. I know you know who I'm talking about.
And what? And tell me what and what.
She lived in the UP of Michigan and has the clan of Bigfoot. And when we would play the sound, she would ask to
Oh,
be
is she in
one.
chat now?
No, I haven't seen her tonight.
Okay. 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 Oh, okay. Was it Jean? Jean, maybe?
There we go.
Jean?
That's it.
Yeah. 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 Jean. Yeah.
She's the only one I've heard tell favorable stories.
Wow. Carrie Ann does. Carrie Ann lives in Australia, and she has a pack, a clan, that are outside of her house every night. And they stand in the trees. They like in her backyard. They're very, and they've like protected her and her dog. There's a lot of crime and violence in her neighborhood, and her clan has protected her from some of that. Yeah. So now
that's what I mean. You can't draw lines in the sand.
No. The woman that Shannon that I interviewed, Kenny and I interviewed her last week, that had the one out on the Olympic Peninsula I don't know what else it would be. She saw this thing, that perfect description, of a dog man. And it was more like when it saw her, because they were in an area that people aren't normally, it's so vast out there, like the upper UP, there's like some of those areas, and that's how it is. It's so vast that you could go for hours and never see anybody. And that's where they were, in an area like that. And they went by, and this thing was like kind of hanging on a tree. And she thought first, oh, bear. But then it like pushed itself off and kind of pivoted. And with like, a bear does not do that. It was very agile, and then just like laid itself out on the ground, like flat. Well, that's not behavior of a bear. And then as it was doing that, she was able to see, oh, that is not, it has like a tiny waist. Dog, like human legs, but like with a weird bend, had human hands, but like more like claws. Woo. And yeah, she got a good look at it. But she said it basically hid, from them. It didn't come out. But also I'm thinking, like, it wouldn't behoove them to just come out and start attacking. There were a couple of those like side by sides, those the vehicles that people, and there were at least two, maybe three of them. So to come out and to try to confront that, wouldn't have been a good idea. Although Jennifer that we were talking about before, Jennifer Appleton, she had one that was kind of running along in Tennessee, running along her vehicle and was keeping up with it. Like, and I've talked to a couple of witnesses that said that too. It's like running along and like looking in the window. That would, yeah, that's right, John. I agree with you. That would scare me to death. Oh.
And that's one thing. We were talking about researchers on the shows. Some of these new shows, and I hate to say it because we just praised him for the show, but like Doug Highcheck, we wind up talking to some of these witnesses and then finding out the stories weren't exactly portrayed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I get it is TV and it is entertainment, but at the same time, you want some of that accuracy to be in there.
Yeah. Right.
I can't think of who we just interviewed. But like they had the wrong car. They left out the fact that the Camaro, the wheels got all tore up in the, that's.
Yes. Yeah.
Was
that the one where they and they made it like it was or was that a different one where they made it like it was a bad, like a negative situation, and it really wasn't? Was that I feel like that was maybe a different.
That was a different one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a shame when you hear things like that, because you think you're going to go on a show and you're going to tell and you're going to tell your story and for them to spin it like that. And then that's out there. Happens, yeah, a lot. Now, Kath had said is I'm not sure, Kath with her little like Australian lingo. I'm like, I don't know. Do you do a lot of pigging? What is that over there with all the GPS techno used on the dogs? I wonder about the effects or consequences elsewhere. I don't know what that means. What is that? I don't know what that means. Pigging.
A lot of pigging over there with the GPS technology used on dogs. I wonder if she wants to hunting wild boar.
Oh,
I know in Texas they actually hunt with helicopters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We don't have them in our area, so thank God. Dogs trained to kill. Yes, that's exactly what she's talking about. See, you know the lingo. Yeah. Yep, you're right. I wonder. Yeah.
Listen to enough Aussies, and sooner or later you pick up on that lingo.
That's right. I know.
You just got to be careful with that lingo, because like the C word here means something totally different there, and they can use it pretty freely. And I'm not saying cancer; it's the other one.
Yeah. Yes.
You should have seen. I know we need to wrap up, but the funny
Yeah. Like,
story
oh, this has been fun though. Yeah.
Funny Aussie story was this girl, because that's my favorite accent. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the girl
it is.
Aussie
It's
accent,
pretty cool.
oh
It's
my
really
God.
cool. Yep.
Anyway, so I walked into the movie rental place and she talked, and it was a very thick accent. And I'm like, how new are you here? And she's like, oh, I just moved here last month from Sydney.
Wow.
And we were talking, and I asked her point blank, I said, so how many times have you gotten in trouble? And she's like, what? I said, how many times have you called people the C word? And she starts laughing. She's, oh my God, like 5 or 6. I started laughing. And I was in there about every other week to get a video game or something. And one day there was nobody in there but her and the manager. And
My cat saying goodbye.
hi, Kath.
Thanks for being here.
And I went to leave, and she's okay. See you up, C word. And the manager turned around and looked at her. I said, no, it's okay. I think it's funny.
And then she gets pulled in HR. You cannot say that word.
So,
oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that and I love the South African accent too. It's because it's a little bit, it's kind of similar, but different, Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well, hey, I want to thank you everybody. We're coming up in almost 2 hours, and this has flown. I had no idea. I'm like, what? 2 hours? This has been a blast. Thanks to everybody. And obviously thank you, Brian. I saw somebody had said maybe this will be a regular show. Yeah. So we'll have to think about what we can do. And I got to get my, my channel because it's what's such a mess. this StreamYard like thingy profile is.
I mean, I'm open for it. So
yeah. So, so we have like a ton of people on our, maybe we should just call it instead of Mount Rushmore, like the Wall of Fame. I don't know, There
you go.
Because we have so many
we can
people.
get a few more names out there because.
Yeah. We do apologize. Yeah, I apologize if you think please, add it in the comments, in the permanent comments. Thank you for all the moderators that have been helping out. Jane Chiro from Chiro Sound, Standing Stones, thanks for being here, and Sunny, oh my gosh, everybody, thank you. So any final words, Brian? Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts for the night. We put a lot of names out there.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think we need like a hall of, not to include everybody, like it or not, we do have to make our choices. But,
thank you, Dan. Dan's there. Hey, Dan.
I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight.
Dan.
I was
that was really nice.
How many people turned up to hear us chat, and I thank you, Barb, for your time.
Oh, of course, Brian. You too, my Bigfoot brother.
I was just gonna say, I love him.
I'm younger than you. I love you that you think I'm younger than you.
I did. The gray versus the blonde.
So. I cover mine up. But thanks everybody. Thanks so much.
I appreciate everybody here, and I love and appreciate our friendship, Barb. And thank you so much. You've been there through thick and thin for me. So as have
as
others.
well as you have too. As you have too. All right, everybody, thank you and have a great night. And like I said, if you have any additions that you want to put in, put them down in the permanent comments. So everybody have a great night. I'm going to just close this out with and thanks to Kenny. I don't know if you're still in here, Kenny, but going to remove me and Brian with my outro. That this is all produced by Kenny. So thank you very much. Hey, love you too, guys. All right. Have a good night.
Footsteps vanish so swiftly. Empty streets now whisper tales of long lost faces gone so pale. Flickering lights on corners weep. Silent voices haunt the deep. Every door seems like a play, murmuring secrets to the key. Where have you gone? Where did you stray? Into the night or the light of day? Missing shadows cast away.